right, it's always one of my favorite questions. Influencers, sometimes they come in a minute, sometimes they come a lifetime. My grandfather, for example, was from Kyiv. My grandfather, my grandmother, my mom, my aunt, but they came to Canada, and he used to take me for walks in the park when I was about 5. And with his accent and everything from Kyiv, and I asked him once, Ada, how do you know all these people? He talked to everybody, which is obviously where I got it from. And
Yeah.
and he said to me, you know, one day I smiled at this person over there, and he came over and smiled at me and started talking to me. And then someone else saw us and came over also and smiled. And it was like, for a 5-year-old, man, it was like super simple. I saw, and then as I grow older, I saw there's a lot to that with
Yeah.
how you influence people. And we all have many. Can you share 2 or 3 people that have been influential in your life?
Yeah. So I got to start with my parents, my mom and my dad. This series is called Leaders Who Care, and all leaders are people. And in the end of the day, what I learned from them from when we were a childhood and we would go downtown every Saturday night to give out food to the homeless, or just seeing them take in people, random people off the streets that would be in our house all the time. I learned to care about people, and it's not just people who look like you, who act like you, it's strangers, it's people that you could be a little afraid of. It's people who you simply never thought you would meet in your life, but that's what I take from them. Number one is every single one of us is a person. Every single one of us has been through so much in our lives, and just look at a person like that and connect with the person, and that will help them develop, and that will help you develop.
Sure. That's great. Who else you got?
This one is a bit random. Naseem Taleb is a author. He wrote a book called The Black Swan, Anti-Fragile, a couple other books. He's actually a Christian Lebanese. I have no idea if he supports Israel or not, but I kind of took some things from his books and his reading, which talks a lot about probability and chances in life, and just how to look at the world through a statistical perspective in that sense, and what's really going on. And in the end of the day, we're incredibly emotional beings, and sometimes that could guide us to make emotional decisions in situations that don't always benefit us. And when I was reading that and just learning from kind of the ideas and concepts in that book, I took a lot of that to heart, and that has painted my decision-making as an individual and as a leader of an organization.
Black Swan wasn't the book that the movie was based on, was it? Because Natalie
That
Portman.
is not.
Okay,
No,
Natalie
that is a
Portman was the
different
star
one.
in that.
Black Swan, Taleb was an options trader in the 80s, and his basic concept was essentially take a lot of small losses for the big win in that type of sense. And the idea of a black swan is if all the evidence for a couple hundred years just shows black swans, all you need is one white swan to flip everything. And that's a lot of times humanity in history. We see events happening, so we assume that's how everything will go. But then there's that moment, there's that shift, there's that change. That could be a technology, that could be a revelation internally, whatever it is. But a lot of times you build your entire perspective on the evidence, but all it takes is one different piece of evidence to change everything.
And learning from the black swans to get to the white swan, I would think.
Exactly.
Well.
And I never put it together here in that sense, but I mean, I think October 7th was a black swan in that sense. And, Israeli defense establishment and all of us never saw any of that come.
Yeah, that's a good point. A last one you want to throw in there for now?
The last one I want to throw in there is David. David, as kind of the points we talked about during the earlier interview, but really taking the simple things in life and appreciating them. I learned from David all of that. And also I learned from David that you don't know how much time you get on this planet. When we said goodbye on that Friday, I said, I love you. I said, I'll see you tomorrow. But I said that with full confidence that I would see him that next day, because I think that's how all of us end every single day, that tomorrow is a guarantee. But simply put, it's not. And you got to think about that sometimes. And obviously you can't live your entire life thinking it's the last day. You have to build, you have to prepare. But remember those simple things. Appreciate your friends, appreciate your family, appreciate what you have, because you don't know how long you're going to have it for.
Amen to that. And at least you had a chance to say I love you, which some people don't even get. But thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
That's beautiful stuff. Thanks.
Thank you, Mark.